everybody. Welcome back to another Supremacy webinar. Thanks for joining us. Today, we've got something really, really cool to share with you guys. Todd Spears here, Herc to my left or my right, whichever way it is on you guys' screen. Good to see you, Herc. So yeah, guys, we got something. We're kind of coming back around a little bit here. We're bringing you guys some SEO information today. I know we haven't done a whole lot of SEO training or reveals in a little while. As we all know, we've kind of been focused on Pixel Scout and Facebook ads and training over in that way because we think it's just a phenomenal product, phenomenal piece of software that can help you guys get new clients and another way to get leads via Facebook ads and Google ads as well. So we wanted to bring that into our mixture to be a little more broad on kind of the services and information that we offer to all of you because we think it's very helpful. And as you all know, Dino Gomez is just absolutely phenomenal at what he does, and it was a pleasure for us to bring him into our group and introduce him to that. Okay, well, with that being said, I see a lot of old familiar names that I haven't seen in a while in the chat, and I know it's definitely because of this SEO topic. I know our bread and butter has always been with most of you long-time guys that do SEO, been doing SEO for a long time, and are always excited to learn new things on how to improve those rankings. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And again, welcome everyone. I'm going to bring on two people here in just a little bit. Two guys that I've known for, let's say one I've known for about a year, and one I've known for many years in the SEO space. So first, I'd like to introduce Chris Ormsted. Chris, can you say hello just so we can hear your voice?
Hello. It's good to be with you today.
All right, guys. So that's Chris, and he's part of the team on going to be helping us answer the questions and discuss some things with you guys here in a little bit. I've known Chris for about a year. He's actually in my mastermind group, DSCMP, Digital Services Marketing Professionals, and Chris has a phenomenal software development team as well. And his head CTO happens to be named Todd. Whoa. And he's also from Texas. Whoa-er. So that was really cool to get to know Chris. And I've also met his CTO, Todd, when we were out in Barcelona, Spain. And we got to talking, and Chris had mentioned to me about something new that he had, and it was helping push a lot of sites to page one. And I was like, gosh, yeah, well, do tell me more. So we got to talking about it, and I was like, oh, right. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know exactly how it works. And I've dabbled in this area for many years. Actually tried to produce this technology myself many years ago, and I couldn't really pull it off and kind of got sidetracked a little bit and decided to just shelve it and let it be. But at the same time, the more Chris and I started talking and the more we started getting to know one another and the more we started discussing what's going on, he mentions a guy's name. And now I want to introduce you guys to a good friend of mine who I've known for probably over 10 years, maybe even longer. I can't remember. I know the first time I met this guy was in Orlando at an event many years ago, 10 or 11, 12 years ago. I don't even remember now exactly. I was at an SEO event, and he happened to be in the room, and we met there for the first time, and then we've kept in touch ever since. And his name is Mr. John Limbacher. John, can you say hello?
Hey, Todd, how's it going?
Doing well, man, doing well. So excited that we're having you on today. So, guys, that was Mr. John Limbacher, and you may or may not have ever heard of John, but John has been in the SEO space for many years. He's been there with the best of them. He's had some amazing clients. We're going to share some of those stories with you in a little bit. But John has actually, I'm going to save most of John's story. He's going to get into that, but John has been in the technology development as well, SEO technology in particular. He's been learning, teaching, and ranking a lot of sites in SEO. And I know there's people out there right now that are listening to me that have heard of John before and probably participated in some of his events or participated in some of his past softwares or trainings or something like that. So John is old school SEO back with me from 10 or 12 years ago. So we're really excited today to bring Chris and John. I know I am. I know Herc is. We've seen what they've got cooking here. We've been working together for about the past month and a half, maybe, putting this together and making sure we had all of our ducks in a row and everything that we need to, to present this properly to you guys, explain it to you properly, and there's tons of testimonials and proof that what we're saying absolutely works. So we wanted to make sure we provided you with all of that great information. So I guess with all that being said, Herc, would you have anything else to add to that?
No, man, that's a great introduction. I'll just I'll be here in the background, guys, doing what I got to do to make sure that anyone that wants a replay is going to get a replay fast, and I'll be here. But it's the show is John now.
Yeah, John and Chris, you guys are on. So John, you have the screen, so take it away. I'll be in the chat.
All right. So you guys can see my screen okay? Everything's cool?
I can see it. Looks good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for the intro. I'm really happy to be here. I know Chris is as well. We've got some really cool stuff to show you guys today. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into this thing. What we're going to be talking about is high search volume keywords. Now, if you guys have been in this, you know these things are worth a lot of money, especially the buyer keywords. And if you don't know what a buyer keyword is, we're going to kind of go over that a little further down the road here. But just know this is like the creme de la creme. This is where the money's made in search. So we're going to share that with you and how to do that. The problem here is very few people actually know how to rank these type of keywords anymore. This used to be easy. When Todd said I've been at this, I actually started in the SEO game before it had a name. We didn't even know what to call it. So that's how far back I go. So what we want to talk about here is we do know how to rank these keywords, and so do our students. I started teaching this stuff in about 2008, and I just want to show you something here. This is one of our students that was using this technique, and basically what he says is he's talking about his client that he used this on. All their keywords in top 10 on page 1 of Google. Now, they weren't there at all before he did this. So pretty cool stuff. I've got screenshots here to show like the gains. Look at this. Look at that curve up over here on the right. This is after this thing started in May. It just went skyrocketing. Now, this is an SEMrush report for a day spa that we use this on. Their keywords went up by 4%. So that might not be a lot, but this is a small site. This is a little guy here. It's a day spa. Their traffic up by 32%. That's pretty good, especially for a small site like that. Here's another one. Here's a water sports company. This thing, and occasionally when you start doing any kind of SEO, you'll see these ups and downs. That's Google's algorithm. They actually have a patent that actually will drop your rank to see if you alter course. I've been talking about this thing for years, but anyway, we'll talk about the patents a little bit later. I just want to show you guys, this is life insurance. Now here's one to talk about. Anybody that knows keywords, buyer keywords, life insurance is competitive. And look at what happened here. We started this around July 1st, and basically it just about doubled and just went along just like that. We did it very mild, 92% boost in their traffic, 8% boost in their keywords. That's something I want you guys to understand. When we use this technique, we use it on 10 to 12 keywords and sometimes even less. But the thing is, it raises all of your keywords. You don't have to focus on everything. You focus on a handful and they all come up, which is crazy. I'll show you some results that you won't even believe in a bit. Here's another one. This is a law firm. And again, when we started, they got a spike up. Google dropped them just to make sure. And then after a couple of days, or actually here, this is March to May. It actually stayed down and then boom, look at that. So sometimes they'll drop you. And what I always say is whatever you're doing in SEO, and I've said this for years, When Google drops you after you start something, never let them see you sweat. It's part of their patent. They're seeing if you're doing something that they're going to be able to scare you with. So that's why I put that slide in. All right, so what happened? You guys all know that SEO got really difficult lately. And when I say lately, I'm talking like the last few years. What happened? You know, why is traditional SEO gone? And why are big brands dominating? We're going to answer that question. And it's really simple. It's this little thing called RankBrain. You guys have probably heard of it. When people started talking about RankBrain a few years ago, it just cracked me up. I was watching all the forums and everybody was speculating what it was, but nobody really knew. When we got into it and really looked under the hood, we found out it's artificial intelligence, which is crazy. Using that kind of technology and search, excuse me, using that to battle the SEO industry. That's what Google was up to. So, you know, we're going to get into, you know, what this all means, what signals that they're looking for, and how they're ranking sites. And I'm going to show you how we easily rank buyer keywords for our clients, and we don't have to worry about penalties with this. This is so natural and organic. There's no way you're going to show up on the radar and get yourself in trouble, because this is one thing about me. As long as I've been doing this, as long as I've been performing SEO for clients, I've always been in the client game. I don't do this for myself. I'm not an affiliate marketer. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It just wasn't me. I got in this game to serve clients. And in all these years, I've never had a client site banned. Not once, not ever. And it's because I do things a certain way. That's what you guys are going to learn. All right, so our new strategy here, what it does, it trains RankBrain to help you rank, and it literally takes about 2 minutes time to set up, which, you know, I know some of you guys are probably saying bullshit right now, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to do it, and it seriously, I mean, you know, if it takes you 3 minutes, it takes you 3 minutes, but it's seriously filling out a form, set it and forget it. And we do everything behind the scenes. So you're going to love this. All right, here's another one. Here's a publisher. This is one just started, like June. Look at the climb from June to July. You know, it's not huge. It's, you know, this is not a huge site. They didn't have a lot of traffic to begin with, but 31% increase in their keywords. And this is only 17 keywords, guys. That's, you know, we're talking about a little guy here getting a huge boost. All right, here's another one. This one is a prosperity site, which I'm not really sure what that is, what it's all about, but they had, you know, they had about 80 keywords and now they're up to 104. But look what it did to their traffic. 860% boost in the traffic by using this technique. Pretty cool stuff. Here's another little guy, an accounting firm, same thing. We put this in place in May, immediately popped them up. Another one, this is facials. You know, this is, again, these are little companies. If you were an affiliate marketer and you had little products you wanted to sell, you could just literally pop this in, set it, forget it. 300% boost in the traffic. That's pretty awesome, especially for 2 minutes worth of work. All right, so who are we? Again, Todd introduced me and Chris. Both of us have been doing SEO since before it had a name. Between Chris and I, we've driven over 3 million visitors monthly. A lot of the, well, not a lot, at least a few of the initial algorithms were based on us. And when I say that, if you guys remember back to when content was king before link building, this was before it turned to a popularity contest. I had developed a software that generated content, human readable content. You could literally throw it a keyword and it would generate pages, entire sites. It was awesome. The problem was it was too awesome. Google couldn't figure out if it was live or Memorex. So I got a call from Google and they invited me in to their Mountain View facility and they wanted to grill me. They wanted to find out what this thing was all about. I assured them that I was not going to sell it to the public. It was for my entertainment only. And I guess they didn't buy it because literally within 2 weeks, they threw content out the window. That's when they went to link building. So for those of you that love those content days, you might be able to thank me for that being over. I'm sorry. But anyway, another thing, I have successfully predicted every major shift that's happened in SEO. And the way I do that is I know what's going on in the SEO world. And I always think of it as, if I were Google, what would I do to fight this off? And just by that thought process, I've always been able to see the road ahead and see what they're going to do. And I've always kept my clients ahead of the curve that way. So anyway, here we are. This is me and Chris. Chris, you're on there still, right?
I'm still here answering some questions.
All right. Well, cool. I'm going to have you talk a little bit about the next slide here, because these are actually like some of your prize winners here. So I'm gonna let you kind of talk about, you know, what you did for Nike, ASICS, Virgin, all that stuff. So I'm gonna just give it over to you here for a few minutes.
Yeah, you bet. So basically, we've been able to do, I mean, we've done, you know, thousands of campaigns for smaller companies, but these are some of the larger companies that have hired us to do work over the years. Virgin, we would do SEO audits for them. Coleman, we did some marketing for Coleman. We ranked on page 1, and it wasn't for their camping gear. It was actually for their hot tub company. I don't know if you guys know, but Coleman makes crazy nice hot tubs. And within 2 months, we sold 650 hot tubs for them in 2 months. So if that tells you the power of social or of SEO in the hot tub industry, I mean, hot tubs are like between $6,000 and $15,000. So do the math on that one. So we made them a lot of money. Hurley, we were working on Hurley, and we ranked a bunch of keywords, but board shorts is the one that was selling the best for them, and you can still see them on page 1 for board shorts. Nike and ASICS both were promoting their shoes. Big surprise there, right? Specifically on ASICS, it was interesting that ASICS came to us and they were trying to promote their wrestling shoes because it was just really slow for them. And ASICS makes some really good wrestling shoes. And so we did the same processes that we're going to talk to you about today, and we ranked them in the autocomplete using these processes. And so in fact, they still show on the autocomplete for both Nike and ASICS. Oh, cool! You got a snapshot of that. So when you type in wrestling shoes, you guys can all try this at home. Type in wrestling shoes, and you'll see these guys in the autocomplete there. So that's one of the cool side effects of what we do. So I don't know. So that's some of the big guys we worked with. It's been fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I literally just shot this yesterday, so they're still up. They're still coming up in the autocomplete. So, you know, Chris was talking about there's a lot of money in this. You get the right keywords. And I just want to share a story about a client that I had. They were in the water sports industry, and we made a little shift to their keyword strategy. And I started promoting them for water slide creation, like custom water slides. And the next thing you know, this guy gets a call in his office on a Saturday morning, and this woman says, "Hi, I'm Celine Dion." And he thought it was a joke, and he hung up on her. And so she calls back and she says, "Hey, we got disconnected. This is Celine Dion out in Las Vegas." And he said, "Well, how did you find us? How'd you hear about me?" And she said, "Well, you were #1 for water slides on Google." So she literally flew him out to her home in Las Vegas that afternoon and wrote a contract for $1 million water slide. This guy was so fired up about that change that he came back and he said, "I want to re-optimize my site and I want to do water parks." And I'm like, holy smokes, that's a big jump. Can you do a water park? And he's like, yeah, he goes, I have all the vendors in place. It's not going to be a problem. So we shifted his strategy on his keywords. And within a few months, he acquired a job off the internet for $100 million to build a water park in Dubai. It was crazy. So anyway, that's what buyer keywords are all about, figuring out where the profit is, where's the money, and then getting them to rank. All right, so what we're going to get into here, what I need you to do is just forget what you thought you knew about SEO, because everything you probably knew about SEO probably has to do with on-page and link building. And when I say forget about that, I just want you to set it aside, because that stuff is still a part of the algorithm. It's a percentage, but you're going to learn what's happening now. And the reason we know this is we do this. I think in the promo, I think Todd was kind of poking fun of us as mad scientists that like to read code and all that. And it's kind of true. I mean, I don't know that we like that, but we do it, and we do it for a reason. When most people look at the code, they see this and they just like their eyes go blurry and they're like, holy shit, I can't deal with that. But when Chris and I look at this stuff, we start to see patterns. We start to see meanings behind this and what it actually means. So stuff starts to rise to the surface, and then we test it and we say, it does work like that. Imagine that. It's like a treasure map to the gold. So that's what we do. We're like treasure hunters in these patents, and we're trying to find the gold. And what we realized when we analyzed all the stuff going on now, that navigational search rose to the top. Google's artificial intelligence, it's all about user intent. It's about figuring out what's the meaning behind a search and what does somebody really want. And the most important factor to that is navigational search. And we're going to kind of get into that. Some of you may not know what that means. There's informational searches. That's like, how tall is the Eiffel Tower? You're just looking for information. It might be somebody doing a school report or what have you. Then there's transactional searches. These are the ones where you're looking to buy something and you already know what you want, and you're kind of just fishing for price. You're really right there ready to buy it. And then there's navigational. Navigational ties multiple things together in a very specific way. And when you are the one that winds up on the other end of that search and they click through to you, that sends a absolute golden signal back to Google that you belong there, even above everyone else. Now, what's happening here is a lot of big brands are getting those searches naturally, and that's why they're so hard to beat. If you go, you run a search literally for anything right now, you'll see big brands dominate the top. Like in real estate, you'll see it's all the big real estate companies. If you're looking for products or local businesses, it's all Yelp and all these local directories. Almost impossible to beat them because they have brand recognition. People are doing searches with their name in it. So those are navigational type searches. When you get real specific, some of you call them long tail. Like Scottsdale Dentist that does, if you actually know the name of the dentist, that's really powerful. So anyway, that's navigational search. And navigational search, what it does to the AI, to Google's RankBrain, it represents real search behavior. When they see that, they know this is going on live. We need to pay attention. It shows the user's intent, especially after the click. Like if they click and they stay on the site and they go to their contact page and they close the browser out, they got exactly what they're looking for. Google's identified that pattern as a good search behavior. They've identified a bad search behavior as you click and you bounce back. You didn't like it. They call that pogo sticking. So it shows the user's intent. It also shows popularity via search versus linking. We used to use linking to show popularity, but now you got 10,000 links and nobody's clicking on them, nobody's going through. Google's RankBrain's starting to see that. It's starting to understand that's all a bunch of crap. So you got to pay attention to what they're paying attention to. They're looking at search. They're looking at what people are actually doing. So this navigational search, it shows Google who belongs at the top. And up until now, this was really hard, if not impossible, to manipulate. And in SEO, you know, we're all about what can we do to manipulate the results, to lay in our favor. All right, so you guys, I'm sure you guys know this guy, Rand Fishkin. Several years back, when this first started to happen, somebody tipped him off. And he actually did a test on navigational search. I don't remember what year, but this is several years back. He did this. He reached out to his audience. He had a huge following. He said, hey guys, we're going to do an experiment. I want you to run a search for IMEC space lab. They timestamped this at 6:03 p.m. and they were at number 7. Just by having his audience all run the search over and over and over and click through to him, 3 hours later by 9:01, he was number 1. It pushed him. He proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that searches and click-throughs would move the needle really quickly. So that's what we're kind of basing all of this on, but there's a lot of new parts to it. When we looked at the puzzle, we looked at the pattern and the algorithm, we found the nitty-gritty of what really makes this happen. So it is true. It's absolutely true. User interaction, those signals are what Google's looking for. That's their new weapon of choice. If you don't have those signals, you're not going to rank. You know, at best, you're going to be on page 2 and probably beyond. If you guys have been doing what you've been doing for years and it's always worked, and now you're sliding and you're not getting the traction that you thought you should have, and you don't understand why, this is it. This is what's going on. You know, this is why SEO is so hard. You probably feel like this little guy trying to push that boulder up the hill just to try and move your keyword up to page 2. You know, that's crazy. So here's what you're missing. You know, I talked about on-page and authority links still being important. We've broken this up into thirds, just as a representation of, you know, you have a third on page, you have a third on authority links, and you've got a third now on human behavior, navigational search. I personally think that's a bigger piece to the puzzle, because when we add that in, we can add that in on even new sites that don't have a lot of on-page or don't have a lot of authority links, and it still works. Some of them it works better, some of them I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a disclaimer here. This is not going to work on a site that doesn't belong at the top. If you've got a crap site and you've got no linking, don't expect this 1/3 to get you where you need to go. They all need to work together. But if you're missing this one, you're never going to get there. All right, so this is really cool because this makes SEO easy again. We've had several of our customers, several of our clients, several of our students, they all say the same thing. They're like, wow, this is like ranking in 1999 again. So they really are digging it. But there's 5 new search signals, and these are making up, you know, again, I think it's more than 1/3 of the algorithm for RankBrain, but let's just call it 1/3 just for the sake of representation. And here's the 5 new factors. This is what is really in the nitty-gritty down underneath those navigational searches. And it's because they come from mobile devices. That's a big thing right there. If you don't have searches coming off mobile devices, Google doesn't believe you. It's not natural. You need searches coming from all types of devices. So that's number 1. Proximity search. Even if you are a national company, I get this question all the time. They say it sounds like that's just for local. It's not. Even a national company, people in the neighborhood know them. They know their name. They know to search for them. So proximity search. And what that means, Proximity search means there's more people searching in your general area and less on the way out. Like if you're in a particular city, a lot of searches should be coming from the local area. And then when you get to the city next door, less searches by nature. When you go next state, you go a state away, it still makes sense for you to get searches, but not near as many. And some people would say, well, I have a local business and I shouldn't be getting searches from across the country. Well, that's not true. Let's say you're a pizza parlor and you're in Southern California and you get a search from New York. Is that not natural? Because what if I live in New York and I'm going to go on vacation and I want to do a little research before I go. I want to find out what's the best pizza in Southern California. It's absolutely natural. Now here's a big one. Number 4, brand searches. Nobody is focused on this. You guys know how important brand linking, brand anchor text was when the linking game came through. That should have been a clue, as brand search is going to be important. This right here has made it completely unfair to the little guys. This is why the big brands are kicking your butt, because people know about them. They're putting the brand name in the search. They're modifying their search terms. They're adding the big brand names that they know about and they're looking for. And it makes it completely unfair to the little guy. What about the little guy that's got a better product, but you don't know his name? He's going to get buried. This thing levels the playing field. This makes the little guy powerful. It makes him be able to fight back. And here's the big one here. This is, remember I talked about pogo sticking? Google hates bounces. Well, what about when you bounce on them? What about when you run a search and Google didn't give you what you were looking for, so you pogo stick back to their search box? Talk about a good signal for artificial intelligence to learn something. So revise search, combining the brand. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in detail in a minute when we get into what our thing actually does. So just hang tight there. And when you do this right, there's a right way. There's always a right way and a wrong way to do anything. When you do this right, what it does, it creates trust and top Google rankings. When Google trusts you, they're more apt to put you at the top. When they see trending, they're more apt to put you at the top. Remember, their artificial intelligence is learning every second of every day, and it's learning by the signals that are sent to it. So we're just sending it better signals to train it that we belong at the top. So this is what that looks like. You want people searching everywhere for your site. What it's going to do, it's going to give you more listings, because remember all those screenshots I showed you earlier? It gave more keywords. They ranked for more keywords. So that means more listings, more opportunities, more traffic, more leads, more sales, and ultimately more profit. Is that not what we're in the game for? This is how you do it. All right, so we built a machine that does all 5 of those signals, and we call it SitePop. That's our new brainchild. Chris put this thing together. His team did all the coding. We had a predecessor product to this that one of my teams had built back in like 2011. It worked really good. Chris was using it. He was using it on all of his clients, and then it stopped working. It stopped working because we were all desktop. Remember the first signal, the signal that was talking about mobile devices? That's what we were missing. So he went to work, and this has been no easy thing to do, let me tell you. It took us a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of coding to be able to do what we do with this thing. So it provides all 5 of those critical AI factors that we just talked about. And, you know, again, I believe it's more than a third of the algorithm, but we have the only tool that addresses all of those signals. I don't know of anyone else doing this. You could try and do this by hand, which I'll talk about in a minute, but it would be an absolute nightmare. So here's some stuff about this. I'd mentioned this before. It's completely safe. This is natural navigational search. Everything we do is randomized. Nothing happens the same twice. We don't run this on proxies. It's simple to run. Literally, I talked about this earlier. You 2 minutes to set this up, and you set it and forget it and let it run. It's multi-platform. It works on the Android, the iPhone, and also on the desktop devices. It emulates customer searches. It actually emulates what an actual customer would do and what they do after the search. It uses real users' devices. You actually put our app on your cell phone, and your cell phone now becomes part of our network. Everyone's cell phones, everyone's devices are all running searches for each other. So we've built an entire network to get this done. It provides the mobile search signals, the navigational search to rank on Google, and best of all, this is at the core of everything. It trains RankBrain that you belong at the top. Again, completely natural. It's real customer devices making up the network, and they don't go crazy. We run roughly 17 searches a day per device. It fits into what somebody would naturally do. And when I say roughly, it's remember I said everything's randomized. One day you might run 13, another one you might run 25, but it's going to average out and be about 17 searches a day per device, so we don't overuse any one device. Then it runs the proximity searches. It does this in concentric circles, and what that means, if you look at Google's ad platform, they'll allow you to go out in rings. Like you can put a zip code in or an address, and you can say, I want to advertise to people in a 10-mile radius. That's concentric circles. 10 mile, 25, 100. So as you go out, less and less devices will run the searches on your behalf, so it looks completely natural. And most of our searches are performed during business hours. Not all of them, but most of them. It's hit the heaviest because that's natural. Again, when we analyze the patterns, we look at the behaviors, we're looking at what's happening naturally, and we're emulating that. So we go in the cloud, we become cloud cover. And I'm not going to get into that, but that's a concept I've been teaching to my SEO students for over a decade, is remain safe by being in the clouds, not being able to be found. All right, so here is our network. I shot this screenshot last week. This is basically from our initial beta testers and our students. We've got quite a few devices already populating the network. Notice these numbers. Like where it pops a bubble up, there's 45 devices right here in this area. Well, when this thing generates this report, all of the things overlay, so you can't really see how many are actually here, but we've got quite a bit just in the US already. And then look at worldwide. We're already starting to populate Australia, Africa, Europe, India. We're populating. Our plan is to populate the world. So when customers in the UK want to do this, there's plenty of devices for them. When they're in Australia, same thing. So our plan is to populate the world with this. All right, so I showed you some easy ones there. Now let's look at a hard one. CBD, talk about competitive. When we started doing this, this was a hit from Google right here. These guys had naturally climbed up, and then Google swatted them because their metrics, they had really crappy metrics on their user site. Their users were bouncing. They were doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and Google dropped them like a hot potato because of those user signals. It looked at that and it said, no, I don't trust this anymore. We started right here. We reversed it straight up, and now we're leveling off. We're picking it back up because what we did, we added in that third that they were missing. So we fixed it. We actually fixed the site. This is the actual app running on a mobile device. And look at this. Before we put this in, this is 7/23, so this is about a week ago. We've only been running this campaign for a short time. And when we started, All of these were NA. NA basically means they weren't ranking. So look at this, number 1, number 2, number 8, number 4 for all of these CBD keywords, just within a very short time frame. That is crazy good results. Here's one from a driving school. Again, 4% traffic, 5% on their keywords. 5% of 950 keywords, that's quite an increase in your keywords that you're ranking for. Here's another one, luxury real estate. This is actually one of my clients. 25% increase in keywords. Look at what it's doing. Right after it was going down because of poor signals, Google caught on to them and it reversed them right here. And here is a screenshot. We started doing this with them in March. And this is just 2 days. This was after we ran this thing for a few weeks. We got them up. But here from 325 to 327, you can see the jump like this. Crested Butte Homes for Sale, number 8. And then just 2 days later, number 1. It's pushing all these things up very, very quickly once it gets traction and Google starts paying attention. Again, that's luxury real estate. That's not easy. That was hard. We'd been optimizing that site for several years just to get on page 2. This is the thing that moved us to page 1. All right, here's property management. This is actually a local California company. Look at this. This proves my point. When we started doing this, look at the rise, look at the fall. This is Google testing us. This is Google saying, we're going to drop your rank and see if you alter course. When we did not, we popped right back up. Again, 52%. Again, it's not a lot. This is 32. That means they basically had half of those before we started. So we've nearly doubled their keywords. So that's, that's a pretty good improvement. Here is, again, they were nowhere to be found. And then Orange County Property Management Company, number 9. This is 719. So this wasn't very long ago. Here's Property Management, Orange County, California, number 5. And again, they're just getting started, another couple of weeks, and they should populate this and be everywhere. That's how this works. So what it does, here's how it does what it does. Here's the magic behind it. It runs a search, for whatever keyword you want it to do. It'll run a search for that. It scrolls down the search results, and it's looking for your domain. In a minute, I'll show you how to set up a campaign and what you have to put in. But you put in your domain, it looks for that. If it doesn't find it in about the first 5 pages, then it goes back and it pogo sticks and it revises the search to add your brands to the keyword. Now, this is an important point. It shows Google that you did not find what you were looking for. They did not provide the searcher with what they wanted. Google hates this. They hate pogo sticking. So next, what it does, when it does find your domain, after it revises the search and it pogos back, then it clicks on your link and it goes into your website. So it spends time, several pages deep, random pages that will just keep going to random pages, clicking deeper and deeper, and ultimately it stops on your contact page. It'll stay there for a minute to 4 minutes. Everything's random, and then it closes out the browser session. Now, again, this is another important point. By closing the session, it shows Google you found what you were looking for, and Google absolutely loves this. So here's some key features. It ranks keywords fast. Again, it's not going to do this for every keyword. It's, if you've got a site that's absolute garbage and it doesn't belong there, I don't think this is going to take you 100% of the way. So keep that in mind. But if you're doing client work, guess what? This is going to keep your clients longer because they're going to be happier. Believe me, if somebody's paying you to be on page 1, they're not happy with page 2. So they're probably not going to stick around very long. Big one, it's fully automated. If you are doing client work, it's white labeled. We have a version available that you can white label this so you can do it with clients and they'll never know. It's got real-time reporting. Those screenshots of the actual app, those are up. You can pull those up anytime and see your actual ranking and watch it go up and down, and you've got full control of your campaigns. Once you set it up, if you push your keywords to the top, anytime you can pop back in there and you can revise the keywords. You know, that's a strategy, in fact. Push the first ones up. Take the low-hanging fruit that you're ranking on page 2 and 3, push those up. Those are really easy. Once they're up, they'll drag a bunch of other ones up onto page 2. Remember, every screenshot I've showed you guys shows multiple keywords, percentage of keywords that are extra. They weren't there before. You've got other good keywords coming up now on page 2 and 3. So once you get the first set, revise the keywords and push the next set. That's really a cool way to go about this. Talk about power. So anyway, I'm going to show you now how to set this up. A project, let me define that. We call these projects. A project consists of a domain. You can put multiple brand variations. Like if you are a dentist and you've got 5 dentists in your place, every one of their name is a brand name for your establishment. You might have different brands. You might be incorporated. Your actual domain is a brand too. These are specific things to you that come into play in a navigational search that will drive your site to the top of that particular search phrase. What that does is that gives Google something to click through. They can see the click through. All right, so I think we've covered that. I can do a little more if you guys have questions about that at the end. You can put in up to 12 keywords to promote with this. And it gives you a project code. Every one of your projects has a unique code, and that's what you plug into your device to associate it to the project. Connected devices. The more devices you connect, the more searches you get from the network. Each device generates about 166 searches a month. So if you've got one device connected, that's about how many searches you're going to get. We recommend connecting 3 devices because that's going to get you about 500 searches a month, and that's what we have found that moves the needle the best. So if you've got, you know, a cell phone, a tablet, a desktop, maybe your wife's got a cell phone, maybe your kids have cell phones, plug this thing in. The more, the better. You'll get more power. So everybody, you know, I haven't found anybody yet that doesn't have 3 devices laying around of some kind within their family. You know, it's crazy these days. Everybody has a mobile device. All right, so here's the screen. This is the actual screen when you create a project. You just give it a name, whatever you want to call it. You put in the website. This is the domain for the project. You put in your contact email for this domain, and then you start putting brand names. And when you put a brand in here, it can be a company name, it could be a brand, it could even be your website URL. You just hit enter and then it'll give you another box. I believe you can put up to 5 in there. But anyway, you want to put multiple brand variations. Next, you put your keywords. You can put up to 12. You enter the keyword, you hit enter, it gives you a new box. You can do that up to 12 times. Then you put your contact page. Remember, I said the browser session closes after it spends a few minutes on your contact page, so we need to know what that is. What page do you want them to end on? And then allowed searches. And this defaults to 500 by each one. Like if you get our regular version of this, 500 is the default, and for you to actually get that, you need to connect 3 devices. Because you get about 166 searches off each device. And then next is the company address. This goes to the proximity. If you don't want to put your exact address in here, you can just put the city. And it'll just geo-target the middle of the city. It'll grab the latitude and longitude, and it knows where to send the searches from. So you have to put an address in, and it can be a generic address. It doesn't have to be your physical address. Like if you're using a home office, you might not want to put your home address in just for whatever reason. No one is going to see this, but some people are a little cagey. So just put the city in, it's fine. All right, so I talked about white label reports. Again, we've got a version of this that will actually do that. It will actually give you white label reports where down here under the agency details, it'll put your name, the name of your agency, who to contact. I had my cell phone in here, so I hope you guys don't mind. I blanked that out. I don't want a bunch of calls to my cell phone. And your email, you can email me. I'll take emails. That's not a problem. And then your website. So this is live. This is updated on the fly. As the searches are happening, it's recording the data of where it's finding the keywords. So this, if you're doing this for a client and you're white labeling it, the client actually has their report live all the time. If you guys have done any kind of client work, you know what a pain in the ass it is to report to your customers. This does it for you. So they have access all the time to know what's going on. They won't be bothering you constantly. All right, so who's going to benefit from this? So any kind of site owner that wants to rank obviously is going to benefit. If you're an affiliate marketer and you want to rank a bunch of sites, you can do that. You can have multiple projects. We've made that really easy and really affordable. SEO guys that want an easy button. You know, if you've done your SEO and you're on page 2 and you're battling, you're the guy pushing that huge boulder up the mountain and you just want an easy button, this is it. Anyone that wants a low cost, high profit business, you can resell this stuff and make crazy profit. I'll show you that in just a minute. And any kind of an agency that wants a competitive edge. Remember, no one has this. If you have this, it gives you an incredible competitive edge. So who will benefit? Just only everyone. I can't think of anyone that would not benefit from this unless you just have a garbage site. You don't deserve to rank, and this isn't going to help you. So if you're not that guy, then you're in the pool that this will benefit. So just imagine controlling the best traffic on the planet. And when I say that, let me tell you this. What I've learned over the years from doing marketing for companies after companies, I mean hundreds of companies, when we look at conversion, SEO, search traffic converts the highest. It is by far the best traffic, and I'll tell you why. It's inflow marketing. When somebody is looking for you, that's the perfect time to come up in front of them. If you guys are doing Facebook ads and you know, all these other types of ads, social media, you're engaging your customer when they're not looking for you. They're doing something else. That's disruptive marketing. And let me tell you, you better be really good if you're going to make that convert, because you got to grab their attention and get them to do something that they're not in flow of doing. Search, they're in flow. So when I call this the best traffic on the planet, that's why. Imagine being able to compete with major brands, being able to go up against them and actually have a chance of ranking. You know, imagine having something no one else has. If you're doing this for clients and you go in and you've got the magic bullet, no one has it, no one knows about it, that's going to make you different. That's going to make you stand out. If you want to get rank where no one else can, this is it. And again, you know, I've said this several times, you just can't get this anywhere else. So we're going to go back to some testimonials here, because you guys are probably thinking, you know, does this really work? And who does it really work for? So this is Andrew, and he's talking about here, move to the first page, position 2 to 4 for multiple keywords. And this is something we didn't anticipate. He says, my Google My Business rankings improved into the 3-pack too. We didn't anticipate that. We didn't build it for that, but it's a side effect. It's a benefit that several of our users have been telling us about. So pretty cool. Here's another one. This is a new user. He says, I pushed your tool to the limits and came out victorious. He sent us a screenshot, and he blanked out. A lot of people will blank out stuff because they don't really want to be found. But you know, this is what he found. was he says he was on page 6, lots of competition, and now he's pointing to the keyword position 5. And then the next one down, brand new keyword I've never ranked for, low competition, number 1. Okay, next one down, worse than page 10, lots of competition, and now number 9. So that's pretty good. That's, let's see, that was Matt. That was a new user that tested it out, pushed it to the limits, said he came out victorious. All right, here is Anthony. He did a project for Spanish flamenco guitarists, and that's actually a Spanish keyword. So again, this thing works in different languages. Found him in position 3. This stuff works. That's from Anthony. He's one of our resellers down in San Diego, so a very credible source. This is Will, a beta tester. This guy crunches numbers. He said, I have seen 50 to 60% of my keywords show improvement. He's using Pro Ranker to track all of his keywords, not just the 12 that he put in. 50 to 60% of all of his keywords showing improvement. Here's another beta tester, Andrew. We were able to snag 2 top 10 rankings within the first 2 weeks. Not too shabby. That's what he has to say. Here's Scott. My client's site ranking jumped several spots to page 1 after running SitePop over the last 2 weeks. He actually sent screenshots here, showing. And again, he blanked some stuff out, but he's showing the actual movement. That's pretty cool. I thanked him for that. He sent me 2 screenshots of that. In dentistry, dentistry is fairly competitive, especially in particular cities. So, you guys are probably wondering, hey, can I just do this myself? And yeah, you can. You can use microworkers. But I got to tell you, when we tested this years ago, we actually did this just to prove some points before we built out the software. And this is about what you can expect. If we talked about 500 being kind of a benchmark, that's where we've seen the needle move really well. And for you to get 500 searchers from microworkers in India, they're going to charge you about 25 cents. To do a quality job, that's about what you're going to pay. Now, here's a bad thing. What if all your searches are coming out of India? Does that fit the criteria for RankBrain? I really don't think so. But let's just say, let's throw that aside, and let's say it did. Cost you 25%, or 25 cents rather. So each project is going to cost you approximately $125 a month to get the searches run. That's the easy part. Now, think about the nightmare of managing them. How much is your time worth, and how much time would it take to manage those guys and make sure they were doing it right and not cutting corners that was actually going to hurt you? What if they just typed in and they didn't click through? That hurts you. What if they click through and then they don't do the rest? That hurts you. So you would have to be on top of these guys. The management would be atrocious. We've done it. It's horrible. So yes, you could do it yourself, but would you want that much pain? I really don't think so. So what if I told you we're going to allow you to do this for under $10 a month for a project? Would that be more appealing than the $125 and all the management? Because this is fully automated. Under $10 a month, fully automated. That's what we've done. That's what we've basically packaged up. You can see our pro version here, we give you 10 projects, so you can do this on 10 different domains, and your monthly cost is only $97 a month. Your price today basically gets you 3 months at $297. So really, you're able to promote 120 keywords, up to 5,000 searches a month, provided that you put the devices in, to support the projects and do that. And this is a very limited time offer. Our normal price on this is $297 per month. If you guys miss out on this promo and you decide you want this later, it's $297 a month. But if you get it now, you can do the $297. That gets you the first 3 months, and then it goes to just $97 a month. You can lock it in for life. Our agency version, I talked about this a little bit earlier. You could do up to 50 projects for $197 a month. Same thing, today it's $497, and then you get 3 months of service. Again, limited time offer. If you don't do it today and you come back later, it's going to be $497 a month, not $197. Think about that. $197 a month for 50 projects. That's about $4 a piece. You could sell these things for up to a couple $100 a month. You know, we recommend doing it for $97. So basically you're taking a $4 cost, turning it into a $97 profit or $97 sale. So, you know, massive profit on this thing. So here's a bonus. Again, you get the first 3 months free. That's a limited time offer on the agency. That's a $600 value. On the pro, it's a $300 value. Here's bonus number 2. Remember I talked about all of the different case studies that we've got. We've analyzed the data just like we analyzed the patents, and we came up with the most successful campaigns and pulled out the absolute top winning strategies to really make your sites pop. And that you're going to get for free. We're going to share that with you. So that's a huge bonus. I didn't even put a price on it because that is absolutely priceless right there. All right, so some people say this is a giveaway price. Why are we giving it away for that cheap? And I'll tell you, the answer is very simple. It's self-serving. The more of you that get on here, the more devices that get connected, the more powerful this thing becomes. And that's why the price is going to go up. People that get in after this, the network will already be built. It'll be incredibly powerful. And the price will still be a bargain because of that. But you guys, you know, you would rather pay the low price, lock it in, will never raise the price on you once you get in at this level. So here's the big question. Do you want to rank, and how do you get in on this? And here it is. This is the link. It is supremacy.digital/sitepop. That's where you can go. You can go there right now. The page is up. That special offer that we talked about, that's a very limited time. That is going to expire on Friday at midnight. So here we are. It's Wednesday. You guys got a couple of days to get your shit together before that disappears, and I know you're going to want to do that. So, you know, here they are again. And remember, that's 50 projects for $197 a month. That's crazy. That's crazy cheap. It's under $4 a project. So that's something that you're going to want to get in on. Some of the people that have already gotten in on it, here's some testimonials. You know, I sold 6. I'm so excited to actually try now, to actually become an agency. Love it. You're amazing. I need to upgrade my current account with SitePop to the next level. They had already sold enough to make it worthwhile. They wanted to hop up. Here's one. All of their keywords in the top 10, page 1. Agencies absolutely love this. So that you know, if you're not an agency, no big deal. But if you are, this is a no-brainer. And here's a bonus. I'm going to bring Chris back on to talk about this because this is like a golden gem that he is bringing into this. And basically, it's a $500 American Express travel deal. So, Chris, are you here? You can kind of give us the scoop on how sweet this thing is.
I am here. So let me give you guys the lowdown. So you guys that are asking questions, just hold tight for a second because I can't type and talk at the same time. As much as I'd like to multitask, I can't do that. So basically, this American Express travel card is something that we're going to give everybody who signs up for an agency level account today. And the reason why we're doing this is because this is geared towards business travel. If you guys travel for business, it can be used for personal as well. But travelers, frequent travelers tend to be business. And we've partnered with American Express. Like, nobody does this but us. I mean, this is like our partnership with American Express. And the way that they chose to market their privileges travel is through these savings credits. So basically, they give us these savings credits card. Well, they don't give them; they allow us to buy them from them. And then what we can do is we can give these to you as an introduction to privileges travel. Now, the way that this works, just real quick, is you guys have all bought stuff off of Priceline, Travelocity, Orbitz, all those wholesale travel companies, right? This works exactly the same way, except when you get onto the privileges travel, it starts at the same price as Priceline, Travelocity, Orbitz, those super cheap prices. This $500 of savings drives it down from there. So, in fact, maybe what I can do is instead of telling you, just kind of show you how it works. John, can I grab the screen real quick?
Sure.
Because I think it'd be easier just to kind of show them.
Okay, can you take it over, or do I have to?
There we go. I'm going to share my screen here. Let me make sure it's the right one. Okay. Now, what you guys should be seeing right now is privileges travel. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is my privileges travel account. So I use this for my travel stuff. So let me show you right here. So here's where I went to travel to Universal Studios. Is for a conference that I went to down there. Here's the Palms Casino Resort. We're meeting a client up there. Hotel Westgate. It goes on and on. You can see I've got probably 10 different travel things right here. And this is what my actual savings were. Now, when it takes $203 out of my account, that means it's $203 less than Priceline. Okay. Now, when you see the $180 right here, the $161, these are these travel bookings up here that I saved $180 off of the Priceline price. So it drives it down now. The travel wasn't $300. It doesn't pay for the entire booking, but it drives it down by a substantial amount. So these are like real dollars that I saved out of my wallet right here with this privileges travel right here. And I mainly use it for hotel bookings, but you can use it for hotels, cruises, cars, flights, merchandise. I don't know what that is. They probably have some stuff in there, but they do wine and other types of things as well. So anyway, I hope that was a little bit more clear. It doesn't expire. You can gift it to another person if you want to. It's totally up to you. We have people who get these and they give them to their best customers as a gift, as a thank you. So you can kind of gift these away as well, which is pretty cool. It's like giving them a gift card of $500 in savings. So anyway, that's probably all we should probably talk about there, because if you travel, it's money for you, basically. All right, back to you, John.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Looks like we're back on my screen, right?
So everybody who wants to get an agency account is going to get one of these. So
yeah, and again, this is only for the agent. This is an agency bonus here. So let's see. So that's for the agency, and again, it's $497 to get in on it. You get 3 months of service for that, and then it goes to $197 a month, and that price is locked in for you. So
hey, John, can I interrupt real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys, it's Herc here. Just want to kind of talk about the deal that we came up with, John and Chris, for you guys. Okay, now first of all, if you go to site-pop.com, you'll see on their homepage that this is for sale, guys. And you can't get it at the $197 or the $97 a month. The pro version, if you just go buy it from them, is $297 a month, and the agency is $497 a month. Okay, so we got them to reduce the monthly fee, and then that bonus. Okay, that's a bonus that's going to be available to you guys until Friday to knock down to take the first 3 months payments out of it. So there's a huge savings here that Todd and I got for you guys. Okay, so once again, remember the $197 a month pricing, you lock that in if you get it, or the $97 if you choose to go that route. You lock that in if you get it, versus going to the homepage and paying $297 a month or $497 a month. And then you're also, as an additional bonus, getting the 3 months free plus the travel card. So I just wanted to make that clear, what that deal that you guys are getting from Todd and I through Chris and John is.
Yeah, this is a special deal, and again, we're locking those prices in. Like later on, we might raise the prices even more, but you guys will never get. We're never going to push your prices up. We've, I've never done that. I've been at this stuff for over 20 years, and everyone that has ever dealt with me, they know I never raise the prices on anything. Once you're in, you're under our wing. So, yeah, is there any questions? You guys, I think I covered the stuff in painstaking detail, but I think it's really important that everybody understand, like, every step of the process. I've got a ton more testimonials and case studies. I don't know that we need to go into them. I think we've pretty much proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt at this point. What do you think, Kirk?
Yeah, I mean, the proof element is there for you guys to see that the stuff really works, and we don't want to sit there and read, 50 testimonials. Just know that we do have them. One of the questions is, a lot of people are asking, can I get in at the $297 a month deal and then upgrade later on? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we've done that. We've done that for several people that were in our beta test group, because once they got in, they saw it, they sold a few. We had people actually selling them out of the pro version, and then they ran out. So they wanted to upgrade. Basically, we can create a link where you just pay the difference. And again, that's if you get in on it now. If you get in on it before Friday, whatever the price is here that you jumped in on, we'll do that. But after that, it's like whatever it is, at that point.
Okay, and then I don't know, Chris, I hear you probably, I see you answering a lot of questions in the group. Is there any ones that you want to cover, like not just in private to that asker, but like ask it so that everybody on the webinar can hear it? Because I know there's just such a ton of good questions here, so I'll let you guys handle that.
There's been like 3 questions that have probably 5 or more people have asked, and I think that they're worth talking about here. Now, one of them is one question is often like, well, I don't have a lot of local searches, or there's not a lot of local people in my area. My clients are out of state, so how does that work locally? So let me answer 2 questions with that one question. The first question is, I don't have a lot of devices myself. How can I get 3? So you can have this installed on friends, family, but what we do with all of our clients, we have them install all 3 devices on their computers and phones. We require it, and they don't care. In fact, they're super happy. In fact, every month when I meet with one of my clients, they say, hey, I just want to let you know all of our devices are still running. We call it the marketing assistant. It's totally white labeled. And they say, hey, all of our marketing assistants are running. And I'm like, yep, I can see that on my site. Thanks for keeping those running. And they love to be able to participate in their own marketing. And so this is a small way that they can do that by installing these on their devices. So I would highly recommend, unless you're doing it for yourself, have all of your clients install at least 3 devices. Have them install 5, 10, 15, so that you have plenty. So when their Windows computer goes to sleep at night, there's others that are still running those searches for you. Now, another one too is the local searches versus national searches. Don't get hung up on that too much. All the searches count, and they're all powerful. Let me tell you a little story. When we were developing this, what we did is we would go to page 10 on Google, and we would grab a dentist on page 10. We just used dentist as the vertical just because it's a simple one. And then what we would do is we do our testing on a single server out of India. And then when that, basically after a few weeks to a month, that would be on page 1. And we couldn't use that anymore because we had driven them to page 1 using one device, doing multiple searches per day on one device out of India. And then we would go back to page 10 again, and we'd randomly choose some other dentist And then they would rank up to page 1, and then we'd have to do that over and over and over again. It's a little irritating because they would rank to, we just have to keep changing our testing spot. But my point is that even all searches coming from India ranked websites from page 10 to page 1 over and over and over again. So don't get hung up too much on not having enough local searches, because it's, even though it's better to have those searches, it's not critical. All searches, even nationwide, are valuable. A couple other ones are, does that make sense to you guys? Let's see here. What devices can we use the app on? That's a good one too. So basically the devices are Android phones, anything that runs the Android operating system, iPhones, and the way that you find those apps is you go to the, you can do this right now on your phone. Go there and type in Marketing Assistant and look for a blue light bulb. That's us. And install these on your phone. It'll help our network. Even if you don't buy the product, just install it on your phone just to kind of help us out. We'd really appreciate that. It'll run one search about every 40 minutes. It's not going to overwhelm anybody's devices. So we have timers put in there so there's not too many searches done on any device. The other two devices are Windows computers and Mac computers. So those are the 4 types of devices that you can that we have built software for. And for the Windows and Mac, you basically just download the install file off of the SitePop, and you can distribute that to your customers, or you can install it yourself. The next question is, does this work for Google My Business? Yes and no. It's mostly yes, because even though this is geared towards ranking websites with keywords, your website is tied to your Google My Business. So basically the ranking on your website matters for your Google My Business. They're tied at the hip. They're like Siamese twins. So as your website ranks higher on the search engines, your Google My Business will naturally rank higher as well. But this is not the only thing you can do for Google My Business to rank. It's a completely different algorithm. So indirectly, yes, it will help you with your GMB efforts for sure. It will not rank videos, because remember, this ranks web pages using keywords. So that's what the RankBrain is. I mean, that's basically what the processes do. And it'll work on an iPhone 5, yes. It'll work on the latest iOS versions and older ones as well. Let's see here. Let's see here. How will this help a new website with no links? Again, this is one of the processes that you need to rank your websites, but this is not a silver bullet necessarily. I mean, for smaller websites, you'll see this rank if there's like not a lot of competition. You can see this work very well without any ranking, and on-page optimization. You have to do at least a basic amount, or Google's just not going to really rank you at all. The same thing with site speed. In fact, when you looked on the screen and you saw the Marketing Assistant on there, one of the things that we track on there is your site speed, because that matters a lot for ranking. So if you have poor site speed, you don't have any on-page optimization, you don't have any links, this is only one piece of that puzzle. So you still should get out there and do on-page, you should still do some linking, and you should still make your website wicked fast. And you should make it secure too with HTTPS. The devices need to be left on all the time, if possible. If they're turning off at night, we can't do searches, and so they're useless. So take off the mode where it turns the computer off, and just leave it so that it turns the screen off is all, and let the computer run. Computers manage themselves, so it's like a little tiny night light at night. It doesn't take up a lot of electricity. So you're not destroying the environment by leaving your computer on overnight. It takes care of itself. Let's see. Yeah, this is not on the Google Play Store. That's not what I said. It's if you're on iPhone, you need to go to the App Store on iPhone. If you're on Android, go to the App Store on Android and type in Marketing Assistant. Let's see here. Can a website be like Weebly, Wix, Tumblr, or just purely, .com? It's anything that can rank on Google. There's no type of website that it has to be. It can be on any platform. Let's see, does the iPhone or does the phone need to be on mobile data, or does this work on the home internet connection as well? Wi-Fi, yeah, it works on any internet connection. So as long as you're connected either through mobile or Wi-Fi, it'll work on either just fine. Does creating projects for multiple pages on the same site build more juice than the domain and rank higher and stick? In fact, John, why don't you answer this one? So basically what they're asking is if you create multiple projects for the same website, does that help more than just one project for a website?
Yes, actually it can, because it can get you more searches. Like when we say 500 kind of was what moved the needle, there's some sites out there that have a tremendous amount of search already. So the busier your site is, the more traffic that's on it already. Like that, the site that I showed for the CBD, that site already had a tremendous amount of traffic. So what we did, we doubled up. We actually put 2 campaigns on there, and we ran double the amount on everything. And we saw that that actually moved the needle. The other thing that you can do, if you want a lot of searches, you can reduce the amount of keywords you use. Let's say you use 3 keywords instead of using all 12. It's going to hit those a lot harder, and especially if you do it on 2 campaigns. Now, one really cool thing about the agency version is you don't need multiple campaigns. What you can do, remember I said when you set up the project, it defaults to 500. If you have the agency version, you can actually change the default to 1,000, 2,000, whatever you want. Just keep in mind, it does take the amount of devices connected to support that, because each device is going to get you about 166 searches per month. So if you did 2 campaigns, to get the full 1,000, you would need 6 devices connected. And Chris talked about, how easy it is to get devices connected to the network. I actually went onto eBay and I was able to buy old tablets for like $20 to $30. And I have a whole bank of them sitting here in my office. So it's easy to get devices. That's not a problem. All right. Any other questions coming in?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them.
All right.
Locations, will it work in this location or that location if there's no other users on the network in that location?
Yes, absolutely, because I have proof of that. Remember the testimonial from Anthony? I said he's one of our resellers. He's in the San Diego area, and he was one of the first of our beta testers to use this. He put on like 2 clients, I think, down there in San Diego by him. So he had only the six devices that he connected to the network. And just from those 6 devices, it actually started to move the needle for him. So what he did shortly after that was he put 2 more clients in. And then with 4 devices in his area, then it really started, or four campaigns in his area, 12 devices, then it really started to push up. So it doesn't take a tremendous amount of devices that are real close in your proximity to really get this thing cooking. And the other thing, it snowballs. The more you rank, the more natural traffic you're going to get too. So really, once you get the needle moving, it really just doesn't stop. It continues to ramp up, and that's the whole goal of it. Just like with the keywords, the longer you run this, the more keywords you're going to rank for. It's like, I use this analogy of tide in the harbor. When the tide rises in the harbor, all of the ships rise. That's the same as your keywords. When you rise your domain authority, all of your keywords are going to rise with it, and that's what you're doing. You're doing it by proof. You're proving to Google's RankBrain that people know your site, they like your site, they're having a good experience with your site. So Google is going to want to promote it more. That's what they want. They want to put good sites that have a good user experience at the top because they don't want to lose their users with crappy sites. So that's what SEO is really all about. It's for them to figure out who really belongs at the top. And quite honestly, RankBrain is probably the most brilliant thing I've ever seen them do. And I predicted it was coming in like 2010. I'm like, man, they have combated everything. We've done everything on our side. What's going to be next? And that's when I started telling people, watch out. The user experience is coming. They're going to actually measure right from the end user if the site's good or not. And I was right on the money with that. And here we are.
There it is. Hey, one other question that's out there. I think there's a misunderstanding on how the searches are made. The question was, will Google know that all the searches are coming from the same IP address? And I think this comes from a misunderstanding of how the system works. So let's just take 1 minute to explain how the system works. Now, we require you to have 3 devices on the network so that we can build the network. But those 3 devices don't necessarily do all of the searches for your project. Everybody scratches everyone else's backs. Okay? So basically, you have access to the entire network when you add your devices to this network. And other people will use those devices for their searches, for their projects as well. And so basically, it's built off of some algorithms that we put together for proximity, but also we do that so basically every search comes from a different unique person and a different unique device. So it keeps it very randomized and very individual. So you're not going to see these from the same IP address necessarily. Maybe once every couple of weeks it'll come from the same IP address, but I mean it's very random that way. So
does everybody understand that point? Give me a yes if you understand how the searches to your sites work, and give me a no if you're still not clear on that. Because there was quite a few questions. Yeah, you're not adding the devices to search for your own stuff. You're adding your 3 devices to put into the network of devices that are all searching for each other's stuff. It's a private network, right? Okay.
The bigger it gets, the more powerful it becomes because of that.
all right, so another question out here comes from Brett, and he says, if the Pro version gives you 5,000 searches per month, and one device gives you 166 searches, the math works out to about 30 devices for the 5,000 searches. And your math is correct. So basically, we have to do searches on devices. If we have no devices, we can't do searches. Now, the thing about it is that what we do is we have all of our clients install this, just like I said, on their devices. So 30 devices shouldn't be a big problem. If you have a big company that you're working for that needs a lot more searches, they probably have a lot more people in their company that can install this on their computers and their cell phones. And like I said before, people don't mind helping out. And so reach out to them for these types of devices. And then John has a solution as well where you can buy devices on eBay for super cheap. You can get it on Facebook. What is it called? The Facebook shopping thing that they have now, the marketplace on Facebook. And so you can get devices for really cheap. Just use used phones and just set them up in your office, plug them in, and connect them to Wi-Fi and install the app. So there's lots of different ways you can do it.
A lot of the phone services like Sprint and AT&T, they did all of these promotions where they gave everybody a tablet for almost free, but they had to pay monthly for it. And then at the end of the contract, they could buy them, but most of them got returned. So there is a massive amount of used tablets out there you can pick up dirt cheap off the internet. And like I said, I've been finding them on eBay anywhere from like 20 to 30 bucks a piece. And I've bought, probably 20 or 30 of them. I've got a bank of them behind me. And like if I have clients that need more than the 3, I'll add them in for my clients just to give them a little extra boost. So it's makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Okay. What is the best way to check a site's ranking in your opinion?
I use
use-
SEMrush.
Yeah, SEMrush is usually the best because it's a third party disinterested that just collects data and displays it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'll do to determine if a site is going to get benefit out of SitePop is I'll run their domain in SEMrush, and if they don't rank for anything, I tell them, this probably isn't going to work for you. If they're ranking on second, third page, then it's an absolute winner. We pick the keywords that SEMrush shows on page 2 and 3. We plug those in first. We run it for a while. It drags the rest of them up, and then we can put better and better keywords in. But that's one of the strategies I'm going to share with you guys from what we learned from all the user data is that is a really, really powerful way to use this to get the fastest ranking results possible is use the keywords you already have traction for. You just didn't have the social proof for the rank brain to get you onto the page 1.
Hey guys, while they're looking for some more good questions to answer, I just wanted to, really kind of point out. Someone just asked, how much do you charge a client? And that's really up to you. But we discussed this, over the last few days when we were building this and everything. And I was asking a lot of questions about that. And depending on who they are and your relationship with them, but I think a minimum would be $97 a month. Probably as high as $497 a month, in my opinion, to get them moving to page 1. And it's also about how much do they make being on page 1, and when they see that value, then right, you got to use your sales skills there and profit as much as you can. But one of the things that is cool about this offer here is on the agency, 50 projects. If you were to go out and sell 30 of those, let's just say in the next 3 months, that's 10 a month. You're looking at making about $3,000 a month, which more than covers the cost of getting involved. And I hope we've, kind of proven to you that, it works and it works really well. It works a lot. And, I kind of opened this whole entire webinar with, like when I first started talking to Chris about this in Barcelona, I'd heard of it. I knew about it. And the reason how and why is because, like I said, I knew John 10 years ago. And I remember Rainmaker. I actually had it myself. And I did, and I even promoted it to my audience way back 10 years ago. And like he said, he told the story about Rainmaker. It stopped working, as sometimes that happens. But Chris has, a very outstanding technical team, very great software development company over there. They make a lot of great stuff in our area. And so they kind of redesigned it and redid it and took it over a little bit. And Chris and John joined forces. And then as soon as Chris, I can't remember, Chris might be able to tell you, but I can't remember exactly who said John or Rainmaker first. And I just like dropped my jaw, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm in. I know exactly what's up here.
Yeah, this is kind of like Rainmaker 2.0. We just added additional functionality that was on there. Like, just as a quick note, I mean, John and I have been using this behind the scenes for like over 5 years now. We didn't release this to the public until Rainmaker came out. And actually, John and I, we had like a contest because we had 2 different ways that we thought would work best. And I thought that crowdsourcing would work best. We all tried proxies at the beginning, but Google knows proxies. We tried crowdsourcing on our sites. We built out a whole platform for crowdsourcing, and John built Rainmaker, which was built off of devices. And I thought that the crowdsourcing was just going to crush it. And it did for a while until they figured out how to manipulate our system so that they could get paid without actually doing the searches. And we went around and around and around and went back and forth like ping pong. And we finally shut ours down using the crowdsourcing because they refused to do the work. I mean, like a search on Google is not that hard, but apparently it is. And we paid them good money to do it too. And so basically John won that bet. just by a slim margin. And so that's the great part about that is that what we learned from that experience is that devices are always the best way to go based off of everything we've done, because they're different all the time and they're natural. I mean, Google can't look at a phone and say, oh, this is a proxy. It's just somebody's phone, or it's somebody's desktop, and it's a real device.
And I think being mobile is such a huge advantage. Just being mobile is having searches on your mobile is just outstanding. I mean, that's where, gosh, ask yourself, how many times do you Google on your phone every day? Yeah. Every single day. How many times do you Google on your phone? And
another thing about that, having the outsource guys do that, the crowdsourcing. One of the things they will do, they'll try anything to cheat and have less labor. So what they were trying to do, they were copy and pasting the search term in. And Google knows that. Ours actually keystrokes it in, and there's random time increments between the keystrokes, so it looks completely natural. So it actually looks like somebody's keystroking it in on the phone.
Yeah, we never paste data. They're always keystrokes.
Yeah.
And the searches, it's interesting. Like we randomize, like when we go to a page, we scroll up and down and we randomly click on the page, because what we found is that people randomly click, like not on links, they just click on the page. Like when you're reading, you probably don't even realize you do it. Most people do. When they read, they use their cursor to like follow along where their eyes are, and your hand just automatically kind of clicks sometimes, like for emphasis, like, oh, like you found something, you'll click it knowing it's not going anywhere. It's just like a point of interest for you. And so we do the same thing on the pages as well. We do random things that people randomly do, so that we don't raise any red flags on the types of searches and how we search.
Right on. Great stuff, guys. Guys, we are exactly about 1 hour and 50 minutes in to the show here, so we probably need to start wrapping this up pretty quick. I know there's still a lot of questions there, and I know we're going to go over the 2 hour kind of limit that I like to impose on these webinars, because just they get too long and what have you. But please do, pump your question in there. There's so many, we may have missed it. And if you're just like, utterly confused about something and you really need a question answered in order to make, a good sound decision on whether or not you want to get in on this, please ask it now. Maybe put a couple stars in the front. Be like, hey, I already asked this once. I really need it answered, so we can see it. Because like I said, there's not too many questions, but there are a lot, and they're lengthy and totally understandable. We understand that this isn't something that everyone's doing. Right? This isn't a backlink tool where we all know what's going on, real simple to explain. This is something a little more complex, a little more badass, to be honest. I mean, this is kind of one of the missing pieces that, we all that have been around for a long time know that works. So we get it. Ask again. If you're having trouble purchasing Mike, I'm sorry. That's probably just, be patient, reload the page, and maybe try again. I do apologize for that. We use a third-party system for all the checkout processes, so there's not much we can do that. Unless everybody's having that same problem, then we may have to get somebody on it. But you're the only person so far. I see a lot of people coming in, and welcome. If you've already purchased, go ahead and let us know by I'm in. I've seen a few of you already say I'm in. Go ahead and let us know you're in, so we can welcome you here. I'm going to be quiet here and let some guys grab some questions for you. But again, I just really want to come on here and reiterate that, guys, the agency package is for resale. You should be charging your clients $97 to $497 a month, or whatever they're willing to pay is basically what it's worth, right? If they're selling jet airplanes for $40 million, then maybe you should charge them $10,000 a month. If you get what I'm saying there. But 50 projects in the agency. Now the pros obviously more for a personal level. You're not going to get, 10 projects is a 10 project. That's probably how many, you guys can do on your own. But 50's huge. 50's a moneymaker. When you go out there and sell a few of them, you should be in profit relatively quickly. That's kind of why we wanted to structure the deal. Well, we worked hard with John and Chris on trying to get you know, they've never ever offered what we're offering to you ever in the past. So we really went to work, and they really, you know, bent over, not in that way, but they really said, okay, guys, we'll let you, you know, we're gonna, you know, we'll work with you on this, and this is what we came up with. $497, first 3 months free. Now, obviously, there's a monthly fee after that, but you know, guys, come on, this is pretty, you know, complicated technology that requires a lot of back end, a lot of maintenance, a lot of upgrades. Chris's team, you know, they don't work for free. My team don't work for free. So, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, we got to pay to play here. And it works. All right. You should be able to sell this easily. You should be able to get those stubborn clients from page 2, 3, or 4 up to page 1 using this. I want to mention again, like Chris said over and over again, this is not the silver bullet. This is not the only one thing you can do. Now, obviously, that's also remains to be like, what is the keyword, right? If the keyword is just like something, you know, utterly, you know, zero competition for, then obviously you can get there pretty fast by doing a couple simple things plus this. But, you know, sometimes, you know, those I've been in the position where tons of sites and keywords, not sites, but keywords stuck on 2 and 3. We all have, if you've done this for any amount of time, you've all seen that. So we know this is what gets it to page 1. So, all right, I'm going to be quiet now. I just wanted to make sure you guys fully understand the power of the agency and what that means. You know, the price is going to cost you at the end of the day. Like I think Chris did the math on that yesterday. We were talking about it. $4 per project per month. $4.
Yeah. $4.
$4 per month.
It's actually less than $4. It's like $3.86 or something.
Right. And
Yeah, Todd, as far as like how much it's worth, you're right. It's like it depends on who you're talking to as to how much that would be worth. But for all the people that do get into the agency, I'm going to share something with you guys. I'm going to share a strategy that is just an absolute no-brainer. In fact, I built a funnel around it, and you guys can copy the pages, you can copy the text. In fact, I actually committed to Todd the other day that I'll go on to Fiverr and I'll have a web developer build a WordPress site that basically is the funnel. And it's a way of selling this that packages it in such an appealing manner that it will sell like crazy.
yeah, just remember that, John. Thanks for bringing that up. Could you mind showing that, breaking out of this presentation and showing that little funnel that you built that sells, you know, what this is? For those of you that pick up the agency, did you? I don't think I missed that. Did you show that already?
No, I didn't. But basically, what it is, it's packaging it not as an SEO service, but it's an SEO boost service. And what it'll allow you to do, it'll allow you to go in and you can sell this as a boost service to people that are already paying an SEO agency. Because a lot of times people are paying SEO agencies and they don't want to switch, yet they're still in pain. They're still on page 2. They've been paying $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month, and they're only on page 2, but they don't want to give it up. So you come in and you say, look, I have a boost service that will take that $5,000 a month you're paying for, and it will actually put you on page 1. It'll actually make what you're paying for work for you. And it's $97 a month. You want to give it a shot? Hell yeah, they're going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I've got it positioned as, you know, if you pay for 3 months of service and we haven't moved any of your pages or any of your keywords to the first page, we'll let you ride for free for up to a year until we get you there.
John, can you just show that real quick? I know you demonstrated it to me a few days ago.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can find it here on my.
Yeah, go ahead and look that up. Yeah, guys, this is so cool. I almost forgot. I'm so glad you brought this up. We spent a good half an hour on it last week, I think. Just totally forgot about it. But yeah, one of the things when we were discussing everything, John wanted to, as a bonus, as hey, if you guys pick up the agency, he's going to give you this funnel that he created, and he kind of just described it for you and everything, and then he showed it to me. And it was super cool. You know, they kind of opt in to get to the next page. It's only 2 or 3 pages. It's really short and sweet. It's got a real nice guarantee on it. And yeah, right there, there it is. Awesome.
All right, so here you go. Guaranteed results, local SEO booster. get more traffic, leads, and sales from your website. Just $97 a month, fast results, no long-term commitment. It's pretty much a no-brainer, but here's the kicker. You got to qualify to receive this offer. So they say, you know, click the button to see if you qualify. They put their name and info in there, name and email, show me the qualifications, and then basically you're taken to the sales page. And we warn you, warning, not everyone qualifies for this service. What I do, I set them up with an appointment system. First, they pay for it. So they go ahead, they pay here. It's 97 bucks. And what it does, after they pay for this, it takes them to my calendar where we schedule an appointment. And in the appointment, all I do, I put their domain into SEMrush and I see if this is going to work for them or not. If it's not, I just give them their 97 bucks back and I say, look, you probably need to hire an SEO company. If you need that work done, I can do it for you. But if they already have that and another company's doing it, this is an absolute no-brainer. So you look at the SEMrush report, you see what keywords are on page 2 and 3, and away you go. You plug it in, and you got a $97 a month client. 2 of those covers your cost. You got 50 to sell. If you just sell 2 of them, you're ride for free, and you got 48 of these things to play with for free. So it really is a no-brainer. And here's some top reasons for not qualifying. If you got a bait and switch site, if you've got a thin content site that doesn't rank, poorly configured sites. And again, these are all things that you can now sell them other services for. But you do not want to take on a client that has no ability to rank or convert. It's just a nightmare. So anyway, I help you guys with that. Here's the guarantee. We've written all this stuff up and made this just an absolute no-brainer. So again, I'll give you this. You can copy this. I'm going to turn this into a WordPress site. So any of you guys with WordPress, you just plug this thing in and away you go. You can use like Calendly as a free scheduler. So this is really cool. All right. So, and again, any of you guys that get out on the agency, I'll have like a private session with you guys and I'll go over this. I'll show you, I'll just share this strategy. This is a killer strategy to bring on new customers, because think about it. If they were paying a couple $1,000s a month to an SEO company and you come in and you're the one that's a hero for 97 bucks, what do you think they're going to want to talk about next? Maybe taking on their whole SEO program.
Yeah, that's right. It leads on to more marketing.
Yeah, it's a really, really good door opener. I'll tell you what. And for the price, costs you $4. What about the guarantee? Let's say down here in the guarantee, let's say they're really competitive and it took you more than 90 days to get them on the first page, which we haven't seen that very often. But let's say that's the worst case scenario. And what if you had to run it for another 3 months and not get paid for it? You just collected $300 for something that costs you $12. Could you afford?
I think you're still in the black there.
Yeah, could you afford to spend another $12 to get them where they need to go and then start collecting the 97 again? I think you could. I'm not sure. My math isn't that great, but I think you can pull that off. So
another thing too is that there's a couple of questions in here that kind of lead along to something that's similar to that. They were asking if we have like presentations and things like that, and really, even though you could do presentations, you really don't need to very much. Really, what you need to explain is something very simple to a client, which is websites that are popular rank. It's a popularity contest. We emulate that popularity until you become that popular. So basically, we emulate the people searching for your website and finding you until it actually happens itself, because when you're ranking, it will naturally take over, and people that are searching for Phoenix Dentist will naturally click on you if you're in the top 3 positions. And so it starts to take over by itself after a period of time. And so you don't have to get into, we do these searches and we randomly click all over. You don't have to get into any of that stuff. In fact, if you do, their eyes will roll back in their head and you'll probably lose the deal because they get lost in the complexity. So basically, a lot of our agencies, a lot of our students and clients will lead with this because it's unique and different. It's something that only you can do. No other SEO agency can do this. And so you lead with this, but then there's all the meat and potatoes that you have to do behind the scenes, which is linking and on-page optimization, all the standard stuff that we have to do. But this is, definitely something that's sexy and it's interesting and fun to talk about. Okay.
Also, if you're doing those like rank and sell sites or whatever they're called, if you're having trouble ranking them, this could help you on that too. And then when you sell the site, you could sell them the service to go along with it. Go, hey, by the way, we're doing this thing that's actually making this work. Do you want to continue that service? So, another thing, we're back to the agency here. We really push the agency because you can make so much money with this tool. It's crazy. But another thing, when you get in and you're one of our agency clients, you've got both Chris and I right there to answer any questions for you. If you need help converting, if you need help with your sales presentation, what to say, how to say it, we're there to help you. We're there, you can ask anybody. Like Todd's known me for a long time. You can ask anybody that's ever been through one of my programs or my trainings or anything. I'm like there for you till the end. Seriously. I don't like leave anybody behind. If you need help, I'm going to help you. All right. Any other pertinent questions coming up, or?
I think there's a lot of really specific detailed questions, but nothing that's kind of general for the group.
Yeah, I know the order form's working because orders are literally pouring in right now. So it's there's not a problem with the order form. If
you're having problems with the order form, just refresh the screen and try it again.
Yeah, or maybe like try Chrome browser. Maybe you've got a browser that might have a conflict or something. Maybe you got a plug-in or something. Just try a different browser.
Do you guys have a support email address that people could reach you at if they're running into order issues or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. On the Internet Dominators site, there's a help desk, and there's a whole system in there. They can put a support ticket in, or they can email me direct. My email is john@internetdominators.com. If you're having a problem, let us know. We'll do our best to work through it.
Okay, I'm gonna just pop that into the chat box for people. Okay, there you go, guys. John@internetdominators.com. If you have any support issues with ordering or anything like that, or any questions you didn't get answered, actually, questions, don't email questions to John. Just email support issues to John. What we're going to do for questions, guys, for anyone that has questions now that aren't getting answered, and for anyone that's watching the replay right now, on the bottom of this page, and now I'm saying this as if you're watching the replay, okay? On the bottom of the page that the replay is going to be on, or this page if you're watching the replay, there is a questions box where you can just scroll to the bottom and type in your questions, and I'll make sure John and Chris are answering any of your questions there as well. Because I know there's a lot of specific type questions, so we'll make sure that you guys are getting those answered as well.
Yeah, and once you're in too, we have an FAQ and a whole support section in there. We've got an install video, we've got a best practices video, how to set up the campaigns. I know a lot of people they kind of get stuck on that because they're not sure, and we answer all those questions in those videos and in our FAQ. And if there's new questions, I'll be happy to just, add to the FAQ too for everyone coming forward for sure. So no problem. We love questions because, if there's a question for you, it's probably for 10, 20, 50, 100 other people. So we want to really get those answered.
I think that's kind of it. Mike, it's going to be on the replay page. We haven't mailed out the replay page yet, obviously, because we're still live on the webinar, but we'll make sure to mail that out to you, and you'll be able to ask your questions there. And then can you guys one more time state, because a lot of people are still asking, can I get in at the pro and upgrade to the agency? Can you just restate the reason why you want to grab the agency now versus upgrading later?
Yeah, sure. Because what's going to happen if you buy the Pro right now, you're going to pay the $297, and yeah, you get 3 months of service with that. But then if you do the agency, it's going to be the $497. So you don't want to wind up paying for that twice. That it's just easier if you decide you want the agency to just jump in now while you've got that price and lock it in. And if you want to downgrade, it's easier for us to downgrade you, and you won't lose out. You won't be double paying for the entry fee.
Yeah.
Basically.
And
So
also,
that's-
you're going to get the $500 American Express card, so it basically washes. So you're going to get
Yeah.
this system for free for 3 months, essentially.
Yeah, really, there's no reason not to go with the agency, because think about it, 2 paying customers and you ride for free. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy not to do that. Everybody knows people that need this done. And, like we said, there's no one else doing this. This would make you very truly unique and give you a unique offering. I mean, the opportunity to have something unique like that to sell that is so in demand, it'd be crazy to pass that opportunity up. So that's my 2 cents as to why I think, you should just jump in and do the agency and just not even look back.
Yeah, because once you start using this, you're going to want to use it more and more, and you'll be kicking yourself, down the road.
Yeah, that's one thing about the whole ranking game. It's addictive.
Yeah.
Totally addictive.
Yeah, once you start seeing the results, you're like, okay, everybody's going to want this, and they will.
That's why I went on eBay and I have a whole bank of these things behind me. It really is. Ranking has always, for me, just been like an addictive game. I want more and more and more.
All right.
Oh shoot, I was just muted. Just muted myself. But yeah, guys. So I guess we're gonna wrap this up now. We're exactly 2 hours and 10 minutes. 2 hours and 10 minutes into this presentation. But wow, that's some great stuff. I just want to start wrapping this up now, and thank everybody that joined us. And I hope you guys really learned something today. We really wanted to, use the first hour of this presentation to really. Well, John did an absolutely outstanding job of teaching us about Rank Brain and how that works, how that CTR works, and how it pushes your sites up. That Rand Fishkin story, I've known about that too. I remember when that came out, as John said, a few years ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but yeah, he proved it just by just using his Twitter followers. He told them to go do something, they did it, and bam, it worked, and it still does work to this day. Someone asked me, well, is Google going to catch on and shut this down? Well, they haven't in 10 years. And there's really no way that they can.
When you do it the right way, they haven't. Let's say that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've seen these sort of types of searching things before in the past, and they use proxies because they didn't have a user base and they just wanted to, get everybody in and take their money. And it doesn't work with proxies. Google knows what proxies are.
They know all the proxies. They keep databases of all proxies, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't, you
Dang it.
can't go that route.
We even used Google's own servers as proxy IPs, which worked for a little time because their own servers were off the radar until they figured out what we were doing, and then they shut it down. That was awesome, using Google against themselves. It was awesome. Oh, those days are gone now.
All right, guys. Well, so basically, you see the offer on the screen there now. The 3 months bonus that we've got these guys to agree to is only going to last for the next 48 hours. So if you want to get in on this agency, the $497 price, 3 months free. It's open right now. When we mail this replay out and replay this, send the emails out over the next few days, you'll see that timer counting down because we can't just, neither one of them, immediately said, yes, we're in 3 months free, right? It took me a little bit of convincing and begging to get that for you guys. So we're not just going to leave it open for the whole entire thing. We're going to make it limited because, like I already, preached about earlier, nobody works for free. And this does take some behind the scenes staff maintenance support, just like our software does, just like any good software does. Okay, I hope you guys just can get that. Not everything's a one-time fee. My electric bill costs every month because there's people supporting me behind the scenes that I don't ever even see. But so I just wanted to make sure we understand that there's not a timer on this screen right here that you see. But if you're watching the replay, you will see a timer on this page. And you will see that, the first 3 months free offer is going away. And then, of course, it's the $197 after that. But hopefully you get in quickly. You got 3 months to sell a couple of packages, just a couple. Use the SEO booster page that John has laid out for you. You can take that down. You can edit it. You can do whatever you want with it. But it's just a great idea. Has a lot of great selling points on there. The qualification thing, I think, is very, very important because you don't want to take a piece of junk site and try to go to work on it, right? I mean, you got to have a site that's plausible, that's workable, that's on page 2, 3, or 4. As John pointed out, they're paying someone for SEO. They're stuck on page 2. The SEO agency is probably, giving them, we just need another month. We just need another month. We just need another month kind of thing because we've all sold SEO in the past, and you never know when you're actually going to get to where, your client is happy. Sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes it happens slowly. Sometimes it never happens, right? But we really feel strongly about adding this type of SEO style to the site. We'll get them to page 1, provided that their site is healthy. Backlinks won't even rank a crappy site, right? We've all been there before. You can't push a bunch of backlinks to a site that has no on-page SEO, all that kind of stuff. I'm probably preaching to the choir now. I'm sure most of the people that are still listening on this call right now have been with us for a long time and kind of get SEO in general. But anyway, so thanks again. Thanks, Herc, for just, answering all those questions in the background. Thanks, Chris. For coming on and delivering all of your great information. Thank you to John. Another amazing job, man. It's so good to reconnect with you. We hadn't spoken in a while, but it's been great working with you over the past few weeks or month, getting this all put together. And I'm looking forward to a lot more great things coming up in the future here. So I guess anybody else, Herc, you got anything you want to add real quick? Or Chris or John, you guys have anything else you want to add that I left out, that I missed on? Feel free to jump in now. If not, we will probably close this down in the next couple of minutes. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate that. He's jazzed.
Just a big shout out to you guys for being on. Thank you for spending your time with us today to learn about these things and perhaps join with us to work on your SEO. We know that your time is valuable, and it's a great investment into your personal SEO knowledge, and we just appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Great job, Todd, putting this together. It's been amazing. So I'm just looking forward to helping everybody pop their sites to the top.
All right, guys, sounds great. Any question or any support questions or anything like that? Please contact them on their channels there, and they'll get everything you need straightened out. I guess that's it. Herc, still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, thought so. All right.
Yeah, I'm just working on your guys' replay page so I can get it up to you really quickly. So I'm here.
Right on. Thought so. I just want to hear your voice there. So, all right, guys. Well, I guess that's all we have for you today. Like I said, or like Herc said earlier, any more questions, put them in the comment sections of the replay page. I'm sure we'll be emailing you guys within the next hour or two to let you know where that is. And then, go from there. All right. Well, that's all I have. Thanks again. Thanks, everybody. Thanks again. Talk soon. Bye-bye.